I say, sadly, we didn't have time for the time I was commissioned by a couple of years ago by a national newspaper in the UK to go on a werewolf hunt.
Yeah, I saw that on your website. It said you were a sometimes werewolf hunter.
Let's get this story because I want to know.
Right. Well, the story is, the background is I wrote a book about the folklore of an area of England called the Yorkshire Wolds, hilly area, and one of the features of the folklore is that 1,000 years ago there were reports that there was a werewolf in the area, and that it would come down with other wolves and it would attack people, eat them, drag them away, that it lived in a tomb somewhere, that it changed shape so it could frequent among men during the day. Now, that area was known to be frequented by werewolves, but it's by wolves, sorry, by proper wolves. But it's an intriguing story because werewolves aren't really part of English folklore. They're exceptional. In fact, this is the only one for about 1,000 years. And it was known as Old Stinker because it had a breath that smelled of carrion. Now, I happened to put it in the book. And then about a year or so after the book came out, there were reports in a city called Hull, which was only about 20 miles away from where the werewolf in historical times was living. And people were saying there was a werewolf haunting a part of the town. And a local newspaper who knew I'd written the earlier book contacted me, and I said, well, it sounds like Old Stinker has come back from the undead and is now moved a bit further south. And so in due course it spread and it became in that area, and then went on to social media, and there were lots of stories about medieval werewolf now haunting this town. It was picked up by all manner of newspapers and things, and eventually I got asked if I'd like to go on an actual werewolf hunt on the night of a full moon on the area where the werewolf was seen. Said this creature was said to be seen acting, and people were saying, you know, we saw it dragging a dog away, and we've seen all these, it's got red eyes and it's crashing through the undergrowth. And so myself and my wife and a cameraman and a guy from a newspaper, we went out at midnight along this rather spooky, overgrown towpath with a little canal down the middle of it where the wolf had been seen. The point where we were having our photographs taken in the churchyard to go with it. My wife said to me, remind me again why I'm here and how this happened.
Yeah, totally.
Anyway,
that's how mine would feel.
And yeah.
Yeah.
And we went down there, and lo and behold, up the other side of this ditch was a creature. You could just see it had two very large orange eyes. They were separated quite a long way, so it was a big creature, and it was making its way through the undergrowth opposite where we were. So fortunately there was a stream between us and a culvert, and we shone our torches on it. We still couldn't work out what it was, but normally when you do something like that, the animal will duck away and hide. But this didn't. It kept following us along the track, and then it disappeared. So, what was it? Had we actually encountered the werewolf? Or, as I suspect more likely, it was probably a very large dog that someone had let loose because it had got too unmanageable and had turned feral and was hunting along that area. But I say, that's how I ended up as a member of the Werewolf Hunting Club.
Wonder how big that club is.
Well, you don't see any werewolves in Britain.
There's a lot of
anymore,
members.
So.
Yeah.
They must be doing their job.